Hey, you probably know who I am, and welcome to this new video. I'm Ziley. I'm a fox and I live in Argentina. This is a different format from what you're used to watching in this channel. Vlogging and edutainment about the furry fandom is core in this channel, but there's an important aspect that I believe is yet to explore, and that's how we furries live our lives. A lot has been said about our customs, our conventions, and what wearing a fursuit means, but we cannot ignore where it all takes place, where we come from. The furry fandom has quite a North American or even European perception of what the norm is in this group. But there are also Asian furries, and there are also Latin American furries, whose lives are a complete different story. 8 different stories, 8 different countries, but one single feeling is what unites us all: being furries. In the following video, different furries from Mexico, Colombia, Venezuela, Peru, Brazil, Chile, Uruguay, and Argentina will share what being a furry is like in their different countries. Are there any furry conventions? Can they actually thrive as other furries from other countries do? Or does it feel being a furry in their countries? These are questions that this vlog will aim to answer. So yeah, sit back and relax, and welcome to a brand new video.
Hey, ¿qué tal, perrillo? Soy Alucard, a.k.a. Furry Trash, de la tierra de la serpiente emplumada y de la mejor comida, México. Y además, soy furry. ¡Skrr, skrr!
Some of you will say that being born and living in Mexico is difficult. We live in hard mode like in video games. And if you want to add being furry to that, it's even more difficult. In theory, but not in practice. And let me explain. Some say that living in Mexico is a luxury because of the amount of taxes on everything, such as the most recent one on foreign products like fabric for fursuits. So I guess having a fursuit here will be a double luxury? It's a little difficult to live in my beautiful Mexico, but not impossible. There is a greater openness towards the LGBT community, but it has been a long battle to gain recognition. Although there is more acceptance in the country's major cities, there are still states where it's not entirely acceptable to see as same-sex couples. That also includes your closest social circles like family members, friends, and co-workers. Add to this the fact that you belong to the furry community, and it could be a 50-50, that there will be acceptance and tolerance, or that there will be a renounced and hostile environment. But this is a factor that doesn't depend on luck, but rather on people. So, in truth, it is unknown. But the situation isn't as bad as it might sound. In my personal experience, most people in Mexico are very accepting and tolerant of both the LGBT and furry communities, as well as the combination of the two and whatever comes out of it, on the street, at events, and even within families. Although, memes like pinches furros always remain. And that's a sign that the furry community in Mexico has greater openness in popular culture, which continues to create more tolerance and closeness to get to know each other better. Always with that characteristic style that Mexicans have for new things that might be strange, to give them mischief but also acceptance. Guillermo del Toro said it when asked about his mastery of difficult and contrasting themes.
So how do you find that balance?
I'm Mexican.
I've been to different conventions in Latin America because I really like the Latin culture, but I haven't been able to attend any in the USA, Canada, Europe, or elsewhere, for now. If I could, I would like to attend Anthrocon, as it's the top furry convention, but I would also like to go to a Korean convention like Infinity in Taiwan. But first, I want to continue supporting the ones that are emerging in Latin America, such as Brazil Furfest or SAFE. The only reason I wouldn't go to a convention is if they don't want to improve, like a case of an infamous convention here in Mexico that only aimed to sell tickets but doesn't improve its space, activities, or the quality of the event. In Mexico, we had 5 conventions around the country until 2025, notably Confuror, which is the largest Spanish-speaking convention with a total of over 2,600 attendees. And yes, there are already many furries with fursuits. It seems, small part of the active furry population. Here, it's common to hear about foreign furries going on convention tours. 3, 4, 6 consecutive conventions with a gap of 1 or 2 weeks. For some, it's a desirable lifestyle, but for me, it went from being something enviable to something casual, and then something I don't really care about, especially when you understand that conventions are a luxury, and like other things, if people can afford them, good for them. And as we say it here, la que puede puede. The situation in Mexico is worrying in certain areas, and we know that crime is a constant issue, but it is no different from any other country. Whenever I see a foreigner at the local convention, I ask them about their perception of the country before and after visiting it. There is always an exaggerated fear that you might be robbed, but then the realization that Mexico is not as it is portrayed. We are a country with good, tolerant people who will always do our best to help those who come from abroad, even with bad English like mine. Pero, por favor, aprendan un poquito de español. No sean perezosos. Do you want to get to know Mexico? Give yourself the opportunity to do so. From the best food to the most colorful and beautiful places you can find. The Mexican furry community is the most open and trusting you will experience. And I can assure you one thing. There is no party like a Mexican party, with or without furries. ¡Viva México, perros!
Hola, hola. Yo soy Nacho y soy colombiano. I was born and raised in Bogota, which is the capital and largest city with an estimated population of around 10 million people. Colombia is the only country in South America with coasts on both the Pacific and the Atlantic Oceans. The Andes mountain range runs from north to south across the country, splitting into 3 separate ranges along the way. And although they only cover about 30% of the territory, they are home to more than 70% of the population. You might have heard things about Colombia before, and they are probably not very nice. And while it is true that Colombia is a wonderful country, it is impossible to ignore the fact that many people face serious challenges. A long history of political conflict, criminal violence, and deep social inequality has shaped daily life, creating gaps in access to education, healthcare, and economic opportunities. These problems affect both cities and the countryside, often making life difficult for the majority of the population. But despite all of that, Colombians are known for their resilience and warmth. People often face adversity with creativity and humor, turning every difficult situation into opportunities to connect and also celebrate life. Hospitality is a strong part of the culture, and visitors are frequently welcomed as if they were part of the family. Music, dance, and food are not just entertainment, but ways of building community, expressing joy, and keeping traditions alive. This sense of openness and energy is what many travelers remember most after visiting Colombia. And yet, beyond these challenges, part of what makes Colombia vibrant today is the diversity of its people and cultures, and that includes more contemporary creative communities like the furry fandom, where I personally have found a space to share art, identity, and friendship. In Colombia, the furry fandom is organized into several small regional groups, most of which connect through the spaces created by Furry Colombia. I am proud to be a part of the administration of this group, which has continued to grow steadily. Its expansion became even more noticeable after the COVID-19 pandemic, when many furries who had previously been dispersed across different social media platforms came together, helping to consolidate the community that had already been active for many years by then. And since Colombians are not usually as chronically online or simply do not consume the same content as Americans, the furry fandom is still relatively unknown to most people outside the community. This lack of exposure often means that art forms such as fursuiting are received with curiosity and appreciation, and without the negative stereotypes that circulate elsewhere. At the same time, some of us prefer to keep our involvement more discreet, since a strong Catholic cultural background can sometimes lead to judgmental attitudes. But still, others who are completely open about their participation have never faced any kind of trouble, at least as far as I know. And even though I am not very open about my participation in the fandom with my family or with my normie friends, that has never stopped me from enjoying the spaces it offers. I have attended a couple of conventions in the United States and a small one in Australia, and I have also had the chance to personally meet furries in countries such as Germany and Sweden. More recently, in 2025, I traveled to Megaplex, which was just a fantastic experience. And apart from these experiences abroad, I enjoy fursuiting, drawing, and creating small videos with my suit, which allow me to connect with the community in more creative ways. And the most important work we do in Furry Colombia is creating opportunities to those who may find it harder to attend conventions abroad. Through local fur meets and other activities, we try to offer the same sense of community and creativity on a more accessible scale. And building on that effort, we are now working on the second edition of our very own convention, Furry Sunfest, which has become a milestone for the Colombian fandom, and to which you are all very much invited. So, if you ever have the chance to visit Colombia, we would be more than happy to welcome you into our community. The local fandom is full of talented artists, some of whom are already well known internationally, and the creativity they bring is one of the things that makes our spaces so special. When furries from abroad get in touch with us, telling us that they will be coming here, we always try to make them feel at home, whether it is by going out for food together, arranging a small meetup, or even organizing a gathering so they can connect with others. The Colombian fandom may be smaller compared to other countries, but its warmth and openness make it a place worth experiencing. Así que chao y suertes, nos veremos.
Hola, soy Cazón, soy venezolano, pero ahora vivo en Argentina.
Hola, soy Sora, también soy una artista y también soy venezolana.
Thinking about being a furry back in Venezuela, honestly, it gives me so many mixed feelings. Venezuela is a beautiful country, yeah, but it's also a really tough place. Its current situation isn't a secret, but this has been building up for about 28 years, and I'm only 26.
Living in my country is a constant midst of hope and struggle. The economy sinks every day, money is scarce, and inflation is the daily grind. Just surviving is normal.
In that scenario, the question of whether it's easy to be a furry in Venezuela feels a bit, I don't know, irrelevant? I wouldn't know how to answer. My country is still debating whether being gay should be punishable by law. Seriously, the LGBT community doesn't have any actual legal protection right now.
I've been working in art since I was 17 and drawing furry stuff since I was 14. I've been watching the furry fandom for years, and I have met a lot of people both inside and outside the country. Both being a furry and digital artist was a bit difficult back then. Having a drawing tablet was difficult, and even electricity.
I actually didn't meet any other furries in Venezuela, just Sora, who showed me how interesting furry art was. But other than her, my social circle back then was just normie or otakus, who actually dumped me when I told them I was getting into a furry art because of their prejudices. Showing your true colors, your persona, or expressing yourself freely as a furry is a reason for mockery or rejection. That makes me wonder, can I afford to be authentic without costing me a joke or my social group?
I got to experience the furry fandom in Venezuela a bit more. I met some furries around the country. I even went to a fur meet in Caracas, the capital, which was a bittersweet experience. The others I interacted with were mostly online artists who became my friends over time. As a furry artist in Venezuela, I couldn't really express my furry interest much. I started drawing using my mouse as one of my other inspirations in Venezuela. My other escape was going to anime events, which is where Cazón and I became better friends.
Emigrating from Venezuela was part of my own quest, on top of the political situation forcing me out, just like it did with several family members. Probably you know a Venezuelan. Most of us are outside our country because freedom is relative. It was when I discovered in Argentina that I could finally breathe and truly understand what it means to be myself without fearing for my life. That's where I actually found the furry community and a population that didn't judge me. I got to experience what a fur meet was, something that I know in Venezuela doesn't happen, even in 2025.
I knew about events like Anicon and others that happened in our hometown, but those were all aimed at otakus, and they only lasted 2 years anyways, because it was impossible to keep them going due to inflation and crime. It had become too dangerous for young people to leave a small convention at 6 p.m. It has always been tough to explain our situation, But being a furry in Venezuela is slowly improving. However, people with fursuits are very few, and as far as we know, there's no furry-only event in our country.
Even though I like living in Argentina, I have to admit that the process of emigrating was a huge blow. Everything happened so fast. It's been 7 years since I hugged my family goodbye, not knowing when I will hug them again. It's a mix of fear, grief, and being reborn. It forced me to let go of so many things. It's not a fun thing like just taking photos in another country, or a nice trip to share with friends. But when you learn to handle it, you also learn to grow and build with what you have. Now, instead of having a cazón empanadas with Malta for breakfast, I have medialunas with mate. And on the weekend, I hang out with my furry friends. Sorry guys, it's my first time talking in English, speaking English for video. I know.
It's the same for me. I'm not used to talking English. It's not my main language. Gracias, Siley, por darnos la oportunidad de decir nuestra parte de la historia.
Sí, gracias por darnos el espacio donde podamos contar nuestra versión.
Hola, soy Frechet, de Jordan Frechet, y soy de Perú. I'm living in Mexico right now. Despite the stability of my country's economy, crime rates, insecurity, and constant political crisis made the situation hard in some moments. My country is stable economically. However, there was a really bad crisis in the 80s and 90s, overinflation, an economic crash, and then the shock of stabilize it led to a really bad poverty rate. Despite all of this, it's stable nowadays.
Is your country safe for LGBTQ plus people?
Not at all. My country is extremely conservative and full of bigoted government, where discrimination is dismissed. My current job is being a freelancer artist, so most of my clients are furries. However, my furry friends do have jobs in corporations and even banks. We have not noticed any discrimination at all. Maybe they are reserved and only show their furry side when they are with trusted friends. I have been a tourist to Mexico and Chile. I am, however, residing in Mexico right now.
Have you ever experienced a convention in the USA, Canada, Europe, or Kenya?
No, I haven't been in one yet. I love to go to furry conventions in the US or United or EU. I just haven't been able to attend one due to cause some countries also require a visa to enter, like the US, and it isn't easy to get one.
Are there any furry conventions in your country?
Yes. Peru does one annually called FURRY. It's a convention that happens in August. There is also furry meetups of multiple Peru cities such as Lima, Arequipa, and Trujillo. Having a fursuit is a luxury. When I was first starting on the furry fandom, I noticed very few had a fursuit. To this day, the amount of Peruvian fursuiters have increased significantly. Last FURRY, what that increase was noticeable. Well, that depends on each person's perspective. Personally, here in Latin America conventions are currently become popular, but attending all of them, being expensive and being in different South American countries, is difficult to many of us to attend. So when they talk about FOMO, I think there are things that we as Latinos have not experienced so directly. And well, I will tell them that each year there will be a new edition, so it's just a matter of waiting a bit for the next edition.
Have you ever experienced an exodus of the political or economic crisis?
Currently in Peru, there isn't an exodus happening as such. However, many people have left Peru due to the political and security problems that directly affect us. As I am currently residing in Mexico, it's normal to feel that I miss things from Peru. I miss my family as well as my friends. However, we always stay in touch. Being an immigrant in a country is like starting life from scratch, because it means discovering new things about the country you are and adapting to a new life. Always seeking the best within the new country where you currently are. It is not easy at first, but with the passage of time, one gradually integrates into the country. In my country, constant political crisis, polarization, insecurity, assault, and extortion had led many Peruvians to decide to leave. I only hope that things situation change in the not too distant future.
What would you say to a first world furry who doesn't know anything about your country?
It will tell them that it will be nice to visit Peru. Peru has many beautiful, unique places, and the gastronomy is very good. So a trip to Peru will be a very pleasant experience. Despite the problems in my country it is the place where I was born. So I would always recommend it for a tourist trip.
Olá, eu sou o Mac e eu sou do Brasil. Today I was called here to tell you about my home. So, let's talk about Brazil. This huge country from South America with warm people, diverse culture, and an indescribable laid-back vibe. And let me tell you, curious soul, being a furry down here is interesting. Because of its size, you have a completely different experience depending on where you go. The Northeast region screams identity and holds some of the most epic beaches in the world, while the South has a much colder climate with strong European architectural influence. The economic center, however, where most conventions and events are located, is in the Southeast region. That's where I'm from. I'm currently an engineering student at a college in São Paulo, while working as an intern and working with a fursuit making team. Every year, many furries come here to attend events such as Brazil Fur Fest, which is the largest furry convention in Latin America by attendance. Tourists love to visit here due to our welcoming and receptive culture. However, living here actually presents a ton of challenges. First of all, customer service tends to be pretty bad, especially for government or public related services. Nearly all imported products are absurdly expensive and inefficiency is the norm. This problem is also amplified by the absurdly high levels of theft and corruption related crimes in the whole country and the impossibly complicated bureaucracy, which creates uncertainty for investors. Like, seriously. There are currently 92 different taxes here to pay, which sometimes represent over 80% of product prices. And opening a company can take almost 2 months, trust me. For cosplayers and furries, this means access to quality materials is hard, and good suits usually end up being crazy expensive for the population. For my robotics and electronics projects, including the ones you're seeing now, I usually have to ask for a friend who's abroad to bring products that otherwise cannot be found here. As if we try to import stuff directly, oh boy, be ready to pay twice, sometimes even more than twice the original price, just on taxes, and wait in a long line for it to be cleared in customs. It is god awful. Also, most people here do not speak English well, only Portuguese.
No, we don't speak Spanish.
And almost no one here has even heard of the term furry before. This creates difficulties of access to the subculture for many, since almost all of its content online is in other languages such as English. I myself usually need to keep this in mind when creating my content, as TikTok, for example, prefers geographical closeness when recommending videos. But by far the worst thing has to be the social aspect. It's no secret that most furries are LGBTQ+ individuals, and although gay marriage is legal and there are some awesome queer communities in major cities, there is a high rate of anti-LGBTQ+ violence, especially in smaller and more conservative towns. In the end, Brazil is unfortunately the country with the highest number of trans people murdered every year. So yeah, we definitely have to be aware of our surroundings. And forget using your phone in the streets at night. Many families are being divided because of intolerance, and the entire country is currently facing political polarization, with more idolization than ever, both in right-wing groups and left-wing groups. I've met people who lost contact with a significant part of their families and even friends just because they voted for a certain politician, and this generally makes me sad. When I talk to my friends about how they feel about being a Brazilian furry, one word has come up pretty much every single time: frustration. The local fandom here is very new, and being a third world country, most do not even own a fursuit yet, let alone travel many miles just to attend a convention, as they need to save money for other priorities in life. Now, I have already attended a convention in the United States, which was Megaplex 2025 in Florida, and I really want to go again next year, but I already know that most of my savings will have to be directed for that, even with a stable job as an engineer. To my fellow critters from first world countries, look, I get it. Cons are magical, and oh, it certainly gets my gears moving. You might feel left out for missing an event, but from where I stand, there's a fear on not even belonging sometimes. We fight to make our art, build our suits and projects, and connect with others in a place where the world often feels kinda stacked against us. If you even can't choose which condom is, that is already a pretty big privilege. when you think about it. But don't feel guilty for that. Use the opportunities you have to make your own journey and reinvent yourself. Heck, why not try coming to Brazil for a convention? We sure know how to throw a party, and I am sure you won't regret it. So don't say I didn't tell you. Come to Brazil.
Hola a todos, yo soy Kaison y soy un furry de Chile. Today I want to tell you a bit about my country and what it's like to be a furry here. To give you some context, Chile is a geographically diverse country with a very unusual shape. Some say it looks like a chili pepper. It stretches between the Andes Mountains and the Pacific Ocean, from the Atacama Desert in the north to the Patagonian ice fields in the south. It is so narrow that you can even ski in the Andes in the morning and watch the sunset on the beach in the afternoon. However, this extreme geography also means that most people live in the central zone, where the climate is mild and where the capital is located. One major feature of my country is its centralism. That means many services like government institutions, universities or companies, healthcare, and even entertainment are concentrated in Santiago. As a result, about 40% of Chile's population lives here. For furries, that's a big challenge, because outside the capital, it is harder to find other furries or furry-related activities. To participate in those, you often have to travel to major cities, and even there, activities are not as frequent as in Santiago. Still, regional furries groups are doing a great job promoting the fandom and helping it grow across the country. In general, I think Chile is a great place to live, though not perfect. Most public institutions function fairly well. Much bureaucracy can now be handled online, and it's easy to start a business. On the other hand, public healthcare is overloaded and taxes can be complicated. But I guess that happens everywhere. Chile offers many opportunities for growth. Many people start successful businesses or work in solid positions. Also, minimum wage is relatively high compared to other Latin American countries, but the cost of living has increased a lot in recent years, making it difficult to live only on that income. Plus, the economy hasn't been doing great lately, which affects the job market, especially for younger professionals who have to face job competition. Because of that, people often have limited budgets for hobbies, meaning we need to save for a long time or work extra hard to afford things like fursuits or trips to conventions. Those costs also affect local fursuit makers, who struggle with expensive shipping and taxes to buy high-quality materials from abroad. Professionally, I'm a geographer working for a government institution, and I find it difficult to talk about being a furry at work, so I prefer to keep that part of my life separate from work. However, the furry subculture is becoming more recognized, especially among C generations and younger people. It's amazing how fast the fandom has grown here and how accepted it's become amongst Chile geeks communities, and normies too. So outside work and among young adults, I have no problem telling people that I'm a furry. In recent years, I've had the chance to attend furry conventions in both Chile and Argentina, and next year I will be traveling to Spain to attend to the Spanish furry convention named Ibercon. Here in Chile, since this year, we now have 3 furry conventions, held all in Santiago at different times of the year. So for us, it's no longer necessary to go abroad to experience one. Of course, I love to attend conventions in the US or Canada someday, but the high cost of travel makes for us a bit difficult right now. To anyone interested in Chile, I would say that our country is beautiful, and you will find warm people and stunning locations to visit. Our local fandom have many activities for all of you, so come visit us, participate, and have fun with us.
Hola, soy Ram y soy Uruguay. That's right, Uruguay, not Paraguay. That's a different country. We are a small nation between Argentina and Brazil on the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. Let me tell you a bit about it. Culturally, we are a lot like our Argentinian brothers, just a little less intense. Uruguayans are laid back, mellow, and generally very accepting. Gay marriage is legal, being trans is legal, and hey, if you want to, you can even get weed at the pharmacy. Politically, Uruguay is considered one of the most democratic countries in Latin America and consistently ranks above average in Happiness and Development Index. Although it has of course gone through several economic crises and some dark times politically in the past, today it's a very stable country. However, It's far from a perfect place to live. The cost of living is very high, and wages haven't kept up. Food is expensive, transportation is expensive, rent is expensive. And don't get me started on imports. I hope you're ready to pay 60% import tax on that switch too. The wage problem is so real that I decided to become a full-time furry artist because I made more money than the job I worked previously. And I have a university degree for that. I mentioned previously the Uruguayan way of being relaxed and mellow, but this is also a problem. There's a general culture of doing the absolute minimum, and it shows. From our slow economic growth to the general rundown feeling of certain parts of the city. Crime, joblessness, and poverty are also major issues that have everyone worried. I'm really hoping we'll be able to tackle some of these in the near future. On the subject of the fandom, Uruguay is a small country, therefore the fandom is also small. Our official group has around 120 members, so I estimate we must be around 300 furries countrywide. It's not enough to run a con, but we attempt to run regular meets, or at least connect when other geek-related events are going. We sometimes visit other Latin American conventions too, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't dream of going to Anthrocon or Eurofur someday. Sadly, flights from Uruguay are pretty pricey, and that's before con and hotel expense. There is a surprising amount of fursuiters here, many buying suits from Argentinian or Brazilian makers because everywhere else gets the mega tax. However, many members of the fandom have taken to making their own suits, giving rise to very unique styles and more accessibility to costume. The concept of furry isn't known at all in the wider country, although maybe younger generations are more familiar with it. It doesn't carry a lot of the stigma it may carry elsewhere, but most people here just don't get it. However, they'll mostly give you weird looks, maybe some awkward comments, or ask for a picture. But hey, I showed some footage of my fursuit to my old normie coworkers and they thought it was pretty cool, so I don't know. If you're a first world furry who has never heard of Uruguay, I want you to know that even in a small place like this, there's a vibrant community of people sharing their passions, their creations, and their friendship with one another. Furry can be just that. So don't feel like you need to spend thousands of dollars hitting the entire convention circuit or buying your 17th fancy fursuit. Come try it sometime. Uruguay welcomes you. Come for the beef, beaches, and football, and stay for the tight-knit locals having fun being silly animals.
Hola, me llamo Siley y soy de Argentina. Argentina is one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Its extension from the north to the south allows it to have all possible types of climates, from deserts and mountains to rainforest, beaches, and even icy provinces where snow doesn't stop falling even in summer. My country has strong European influence. All cities look like a different part of Europe, and Buenos Aires, its capital, makes you feel as if you were in different countries given the neighborhood where you are. However, as many in this video who talked about having limited experience in the fandom, a few trips in their lives, and the recurrent use of the word crisis, I can't avoid addressing the big elephant in this room. At an early age, during my teen years, I had to wave goodbye to the few friends that I had during the economic crisis of 2019, 2020, and 2021. The reminiscence of that economic turmoil still echoes to the day here, but what I still miss after more than 5 years is the echo of my friends. My country had several crises, on top of 6 dictatorships whose atrocities share in shape of propaganda still form part, unfortunately, of the Argentinian mindset. Each of these phenomena forced Argentinians to abandon their roots, their friends, and their old relatives. There is a famous phrase in this country which goes, "The exit is at the airport gates." It's one that has gone on for decades, but whose emotional burden is truly unbearable. Waving friends goodbye, not knowing when you will see them again, is something not many are used to in the first world, but it's a wound that still bleeds in many of us here. The political instability, together with the old conservative mindsets that still govern the country, constantly crash against the new, the open-minded younger generations that still are here fighting for, in a way, sort of resistance. This is clear in my daily life. As you probably know, I'm a teacher. I am in a constant relationship with that conflict, the new generations in the classroom questioning the decisions coming from the elder who are in power. The teaching profession as a whole, because of this relationship, is quite marginalized. For example, you will see LGBTQ+ teachers like myself, but we tend to remain silent mostly. We're not allowed to talk about this in the classroom, we're not about to express what we are, and our lives have to mainly remain private. I mean, it's what is expected. But you will never see one of us in a power position, like the administration or even the head of a school. The elders are in charge of the most important power positions, and because of that, little can be done on our side. For example, I have been fired from 2 schools in all of my teaching career after they found out my furry media. Their arguments? Well, shut down your socials and stick to what a teacher is expected to be. Or you're out. Of course, I'm still here, so you probably know the answer. Like these, there are many cases of social injustice, but there's also an incredible richness in the Argentinian population, the generation that I'm, mostly identified with. The openness that we had to immigration and the new cultures that immigrants bring to our nation, which altogether fosters a great sense of love and friendship. We embrace our Latin American brothers and we make them feel at home in their new home, which reflects the acceptance of furries, in my opinion, in everyday life, mostly in the Argentinian society. Yeah, of course, you can get called names when you go out, but they are never meant to be insulting. People are naturally cheeky down here, and every social interaction feels like a constant competition to see who's funnier and even more edgy at the same time. There's not much discrimination in the streets in terms of sexual orientation or what you wear. I mean, they don't care. If you find someone actually being mean to you, people will check them out, and someone will certainly speak up for you and defend you. Names and silly jokes, well, yeah, you shouldn't care. That's normal here. That's mainly a problem of the closed-door institutions like schools, where you will see mostly a discriminatory discourse. But as I said before, those days of those institutions, hopefully, they are counted. Yet, as I mentioned before, the young are slowly noticing the unfair treatments of those in power. And one day, the teens of today will be empowered too. That's something that keeps my optimistic outlook, because maybe one day we will be more open to what's different. Maybe there will be more than one convention down here too, in terms of, furry culture. Maybe the economic situation improves and not only will we have more conventions down here, but people will be able to travel abroad and be able to experience, like, I don't know, an American convention, a European convention. And because of that, maybe we can see again our friends who left, and maybe we can even grow as furries together, like to be more friendly, accepting, and I don't know, maybe to be united at last. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. The objective of this collaborative project was to shed light on what the furry fandom from Latin America sees every day while they coexist with their typical context of each country that makes this side of the world. I would love to give a big shout out to those who took their time to collaborate with me in writing their scripts, recording themselves speaking, in some cases for the first time in English, and to even share their personal experience, a topic which sometimes takes a lot of courage to, be open about. So guys, if you enjoyed all of this work, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment telling us where you come from, or if you ever knew something from Latin America. If you want to, you can share this video with a friend, maybe you can help us spread the word and reach more furries and also their stories as well. Each of the collaborators in this video will have their socials in the description so that you can check them out too. This has been Xylee the Fox, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Meow!